Welcome to the Nourished Mama podcast. I am your host, Anna Robinson, certified nutritionist and wellness coach, plus fellow mama. This podcast is here to show you that you can live your healthiest, happiest, most vibrant life as a mama. Each week, I will be sharing different nutrition, lifestyle, and mindset hacks that are going to support you in your health journey. You can expect realistic and sustainable advice, plus strategies that can easily fit into your busy life as a mama. Because without a nourished mama, there can't be a nourished home. So if you are committed to creating a life filled with vibrance for you and for the ones you love most, then you are in the right place. So let's get into today's life-changing episode. Hello and welcome back to the Nourish Mama Show. Today we're diving into something that affects so many of us on our health journey, and that's those persistent food cravings that can make you feel completely out of control. If you've ever found yourself reaching for that chocolate bar at 3 p.m. despite your best intentions, or you feel anxious about eating out because you're worried about making impulsive food choices, or you could be someone that never feels fully satisfied after a meal, especially dinner, then this episode is for you. Today, we're going to unpack why cravings happen, why they're not just about your willpower or self-control, and most importantly, I'll share some practical strategies to help you regulate your appetite naturally and find freedom around food again. So let's get started. Food cravings can make us feel completely out of control. When that intense desire for something sweet, salty, or carb-heavy hits, it can feel like your body has been hijacked. 1 minute you're going about your day, and the next you're standing in front of the pantry, unable to think about anything else. These cravings don't just impact our food choices, they add layers of stress and overwhelm to our already busy lives. How many of you have experienced that mental battle when a craving hits? That voice in your head saying, "Don't do it, you've been so well." While another part is saying, "Just one won't hurt." That internal conflict is exhausting. I also hear so many mamas say they feel nervous about eating out or attending social gatherings because they're afraid they won't be able to control themselves around certain foods. Food should bring us joy and connection, not anxiety. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know you're not alone. And more importantly, this is not actually your fault. You may be surprised to hear this, but those intense cravings aren't happening because you lack willpower or self-discipline. Here's what I really want you to understand today. Those persistent cravings aren't a moral failing or, like I mentioned, lack of willpower. They're most often a sign that something is out of balance in your body, particularly your hormones. When our hormones are in balance, they can trigger intense cravings that feel impossible to resist. So let's break down some of the key hormonal players here. Number 1 is insulin. When this blood sugar regulating hormone is on a roller coaster, spiking high after a carb-heavy meal and then crashing, your body craves quick energy, usually in the form of sugar or refined carbs. It's really a biological response, not a willpower issue. Next up, cortisol, our stress hormone. This stress hormone, when chronically elevated, can trigger cravings for high-calorie comfort foods. Your body is literally trying to prepare for a perceived threat by storing energy. Those stress-induced chocolate cravings, that's cortisol talking. Next up is leptin and ghrelin. These are your hunger and fullness hormones. When they're out of balance, often due to poor sleep, chronic dieting, or irregular eating patterns, they don't signal properly, leaving you feeling hungry when you've eaten actually enough food. And lastly, your sex hormones. Fluctuations in estrogen and progesterone can absolutely drive cravings, especially during certain times of your cycle. This is why you might notice stronger cravings before your period. Now, this is totally normal, and it's important we honor our body's needs during the different phases of our cycle. But this is a much bigger topic for another episode. However, I do suggest you start to track the different phases of your cycle and notice your diet patterns in each phase. This will help you understand your body better, and instead of beating yourself up for eating more during a certain phase, you can give yourself grace by understanding that your body needs more or less calories during the different phases of your cycle. This was a huge eye-opener for me when I first started cycle syncing. So when we understand that cravings are largely driven by these hormonal processes, we can stop beating ourselves up and start addressing the root causes. This will help you stop constantly fighting against your body and working with it. So now for the part you've been waiting for, practical, doable strategies to help regulate your appetite and reduce those overwhelming cravings. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate cravings entirely. That's not really realistic. The goal is to balance your hormones so you gain control over your cravings and they become gentler signals rather than urgent demands from your body. Number 1, prioritize sleep. If honestly I could wave a magic wand and fix just one thing for mamas struggling with cravings, it would be sleep. Even one night of poor sleep can throw hunger hormones out of balance, increasing ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and decreasing leptin, your fullness hormone. Poor sleep can also increase your cortisol levels, making you feel spacey throughout the day and increasing your desire for more carb-heavy, sugary options. You need to aim for 8 hours when possible, and if that feels impossible with little ones, focus on your sleep quality. Even small improvements like avoiding screens before bed, keeping your bedroom cool and dark, and rewinding your bedtime each night until you get enough hours in is so important. Next up is build balanced meals. Every meal is an opportunity to stabilize your blood sugar, satisfy your hunger, and keep those cravings at bay. The key is balance. And when I say balance, I don't mean calories. I mean make sure each meal includes quality protein, healthy fats, fiber-rich vegetables or fruits, and complex carbohydrates. This combination slows down digestion, prevents blood sugar spikes and crashes, and keeps you satisfied longer. When your blood sugar is stable, cravings naturally begin to diminish. A balanced plate is not just about nutrients, it's also about digestion. When we pair protein with healthy fats, fiber, and complex carbs, our body metabolizes our food so much more effectively. It keeps us satisfied for longer and allows for a slow release of sustained energy rather than a huge spike of energy followed by an extreme crash that happens after a carb-heavy or sugary option. Number 3 follows on from number 2, and that is prioritize protein. Protein is your secret weapon against cravings. It triggers hormones that signal fullness and takes longer to digest, keeping you satisfied. Try getting 20 to 30 grams of protein each meal. That's about a palm-sized portion of chicken, fish, tofu, or legumes combined with some eggs or other protein sources. For reference, that morning toast with a smear of peanut butter might have about 5 grams of protein, while a breakfast with eggs, smoked salmon, and some nuts could deliver 25 grams or more. That difference really impacts how you will feel throughout your whole day. Number 4 is include healthy fats. Fats are not the enemy. They're essential for hormone production and help you feel satisfied. Take that extra effort when you're making a meal to include things like avocado, olive oil, nut seeds, and fatty fish every single day. Even adding half an avocado to your lunch can make a huge difference in afternoon cravings. So many of our hormones rely on healthy fats to regulate themselves. Number 5, don't fear snacks, just make them protein rich. If you're truly hungry between meals, Honor that hunger with high protein snacks. Some options I personally love is a protein smoothie with lots of fruit or berries, coconut yogurt with fruit and nuts, apple slices with almond butter, hard-boiled eggs with a little bit of sea salt, a small handful of nuts and seeds, even paired with some dark chocolate, or hummus with veggie sticks. These maintain your blood sugar rather than sending it on a roller coaster ride that ends up in more cravings. Number 6, load up on vegetables at dinner. Adding an extra serve of non-starchy vegetables to your dinner plate can work wonders. They add volume and fiber, helping you feel physically full while providing the nutrients your body needs to function at its best. When your nutrient needs are met, cravings also often subside. Try to make half your plate colourful vegetables. If you are someone that tends to never feel satisfied after dinner, you find yourself late night snacking, then I would really give this a go. Not that I track calories, but non-starchy veggies are very low in calories, so adding more at dinner is a great way to satisfy your hunger without overeating. And number 7, practice mindful eating. When we eat distracted, scrolling on our phones, watching TV, or working, we miss our body's natural fullness signals and often end up unsatisfied despite actually having adequate amount of food for our body. Even if you can only manage it for one meal a day, try eating without any distractions. Notice the flavors of the food, the texture, and your body's signals. Eating mindfully helps reactivate those natural hunger and fullness hormones that may have become muted over time. And mindful eating isn't about restriction. It's about truly enjoying and experiencing your food. You might find you actually need less food to feel satisfied when you're truly present with your meal. Number 8, healthier swaps for common cravings. Sometimes you just want what you want, and that's totally okay. Having healthier alternatives for common cravings can be an absolute game changer. For example, if you're craving chocolate, try a square or two of 85% plus dark chocolate, which has less sugar and more beneficial compounds for you. Pair this with some herbal tea, and 9 times out of 10, this should really satisfy that craving. If you really want something sweet, try some fresh fruit with some nut butter or a sprinkle of cinnamon. This can really satisfy that sweet tooth. Or if you're feeling like something crunchy and salty, homemade popcorn with olive oil and sea salt is an absolute game changer. I even like to have some roasted chickpeas, which also hit the spot for me. I have been doing this so much lately. I drain a tin of chickpeas or butter beans, dry them up, sprinkle them with some sea salt and some paprika, and I pop them in the air fryer for about 15 minutes. They come out so delicious and crunchy. If you've got that afternoon caffeine craving, I would really try switching this over to matcha with a little bit of unsweetened almond milk, some raw honey and cinnamon. This can also really hit that caffeine craving. The goal isn't to never have treats. It's to find options that satisfy without triggering the blood sugar roller coaster that leads to more cravings. I also have a guilt-free desserts recipe ebook you can purchase, which is loaded with healthier dessert recipes. I'll link that in the show notes. I want you to remind yourself that regulating your appetite and managing cravings is a journey and not an overnight fix. Your body may need time to rebalance, especially if hormonal imbalances have been present for a while. Be patient with yourself and focus on progress, not perfection. Maybe start by implementing just 1 or 2 strategies from today's episode. Perhaps prioritizing protein at breakfast or adding that extra serve of veggies at dinner. Notice how your body responds and how your relationship with food begins to shift. Many mamas I work with report that within just a couple of weeks of making these changes, their cravings become less intense and less frequent. Remember, the goal isn't to never experience cravings again. Cravings are a part of being human. The goal is to create a body environment where cravings don't control you, where you can acknowledge them and decide if you want to honor them and move on with your day either way. That brings me to the end of today's episode. I hope this conversation has supported you in your health journey. If you have enjoyed this chat, it would mean the absolute world to me if you left a review. If you know another mama who may benefit from this episode, please don't forget to pass it on to her. I hope you have a beautiful week and chat soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this conversation has inspired you to live your healthiest, happiest life. Don't forget to subscribe and tune in next week. Bye for now.